So,
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast Life in Black and White. We're still getting used to YouTube, so we don't have our usual banter anymore. When we only had audio podcast, we did a little funny banter with Yao. So now this is new. So what are we going to talk about, Yao?
nothing. Get into it.
Get into it, yeah. Yes,
That's fine.
but we introduce our guest right away. So today we're speaking to Candice, the founder of Afterbirth London, and a mom, amazing lady who I met at one event in London, and I just knew right away, this is my person and my new best friend.
Yep.
I just claimed her basically.
Yep. Happy to be claimed.
Good. And when you hear her today, I'm sure you understand why, because the energy is just what I love, So hi, Candice. Candice, sorry. So you say is it Candice?
Candice.
Yeah, I'm not a great best friend. No, I can't even pronounce your name properly.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We've got many years.
I mentioned you're a mom of 4 children, and today we would like to talk about the reality of parenthood, motherhood, fatherhood, because there is so much that we don't talk about openly as society and as parents. So yeah, introduce yourself first, and then we can just take it from there.
Sure. Well, I am Candice Davis. I am the founder of Afterbirth London, a website just for mums. We focus on mum's journey, mum's experience, no baby talk. As Ivana said, I am parent to 3, parent to 4. 3 I have given birth to, and 1 I am legal guardian for.
And how do you find it being a mom?
Oh, it's different at every stage. Think when you first go into it, you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And then when you go into it the second time, you think you know what you're doing, but you don't. And if you just keep going as I have done, it's just every time it's a new revelation, it's a new situation, it's the funniest thing. Earlier on, I was watching Love is Blind. I finished the latest one. And one of the things, one of the women on it, she said, becoming a mother is the most selfless act in the world. And I was like, no, actually, becoming a mother is really selfish. I want to have a baby. I want to procreate. Being a mother is the selfless part, but you don't know that till you get there. Or being a parent, sorry, Al. It's the selfless part. That's when it actually comes in. But actually, the process up until that point is actually all about you and what you want. So I found that interesting, so I bring that up. But anyway.
And even later, like I think there is nothing wrong with being selfish. You're still your own person. Now you have your needs, you have your desires.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away.
Oh, no, I completely agree. I mean, I think for me, that was something I battled with my first. I kind of felt like I had to give everything to him and almost erase myself entirely and always be ready for his needs until the point that I actually started to treat myself really badly. And I didn't realize, but I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped even clothes shopping, small things like that, just in case he needed. And it took me, in all honesty, years and a second child with a big gap of 13 years before I actually realized, whoa, you're doing this all wrong. Because I just felt lower and lower and less important, which then impacts on how you parent.
Exactly.
Because the less important you feel, the less able you are to actually guide them and be that parent you need to be.
Yeah. And you're modeling that to them as well, no? They learn, I'm not important. That as
exactly.
Well.
Silly.
Yeah. So we started our relationship basically with twins. So like you said, you don't know, what you signing up for, when you become first-time parent.
Yeah.
I think it's good that we had twins first because we didn't know what it takes to be a parent. No, I think it must be harder to have, say, 1 and then twins. So
yeah.
Not that it was easy, don't get me wrong. So like I mentioned at the beginning with Candice, we met at the event. It was a play called Fox, and it was about the unspoken realities of becoming a new mom and postpartum depression. So I would like to touch on that as well, because this is something I experienced personally and many, many moms as well. And there is lots of stigma surrounding that. But I would like to let Yao talk on this, because we are getting right. No pressure. Put you on the spot there. No, we start talking more about it as moms. But what about fathers who wife or partner is going through that. That's not spoken about enough
Yeah.
as well, because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Yao, you as a father you're under pressure to hold it all together. So no one often questions you like, oh, are you okay? How are you doing? How are you coping? And I don't like it when people say dads have it easy, because they don't. Yeah, they
Mm.
are often breadwinners. Yeah, the whole family depends on their salary. Then on top of that, you have baby or babies in our case who don't let you sleep at night. Yeah, so
Mm.
I don't think that's easy as well. So what would you say?
I don't know why I'm so slow today.
It's not just today, Angel.
No, it probably isn't. So we're starting the banter later on in the. It's not easy, but it's not easy for any of us, right? You know, say you're a single parent and you've got double that kind of responsibility
Mm.
to kind of do that and still keep that all going. It's just hard for parents all the way around, you know. Obviously not taking anything away from, you know, motherhood, not just the physical thing, the hormonal thing, you know,
Mm.
just so much that you have to kind of go through and manage while lack of sleep and while everything and stuff is going on.
Mm.
I think I'm obviously going from a dad perspective,
Yeah.
times if you're one of those type of stoic kind of characters. Sorry, I've got a bit of a toothache, so I sound a
It's
bit
okay.
funny.
You don't sound funny.
If you're a stoic character and
Yeah.
you're not really open to turn around and saying how things are actually going, how are things going? Fine. How are things going?
Mm.
Yeah, all right. You can quite happily kind of be falling apart inside, giving that kind of side, that kind of look of, yeah, things are going absolutely great and we've got it. But I think we all need that channel. We all need that avenue to be able to kind of turn around and say what we're going through and be open. And, you know, from my perspective, I didn't want to put anything extra on you.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's not right, I think, in a way, no? Because it's not putting anything extra, it's supporting each other.
Yeah,
No?
I get that, but I understood that you were going through quite a lot at the
Yeah.
time and things as well. And I had quite a good structure and stuff around me. I've got friends, family, and people that I use as support. Obviously, my wife is my main support, right? Let's not get it twisted. But at the time, there are certain things that I really do wish that I'd spoken a little bit more on and
Mm.
maybe voiced a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is hindsight. You can always turn around and
Yeah.
say, "I wish I did this."
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what is your experience, Candice? And we can then talk about afterbirth London, because it's all connected, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I have become a single mum now. So I guess I've kind of experienced both sides of it. Plus also speaking to other mothers and seeing their side. Like I was listening to you and your experience and the fact that you wanted to be involved and you were aware of the load on her. But unfortunately, there are a lot of single mothers in relationships, a lot of married single mothers who are doing everything. And I think that's where the anger and the men have it easy comes from, because sometimes they so easily switch off. Sometimes it also can be because they're equally overwhelmed and they don't know how to say it. So they just shut down and that's it. I just don't do anything, which can be very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So in my case, I had some help when it was there. And then as things broke down, I was less and less supported to the point where it was like having nobody there whatsoever. And yeah, it's definitely hard.
I
But
like you said, married single moms always say this, actually, because
yeah,
we respect single moms, but what
yeah,
about those who are in a relationship but have no
yeah,
support? That's worse, because people think, oh, she's fine, she has a partner, but
yeah.
she isn't, or not necessarily. So that's
No, it's usually, from what I've seen, sorry, I spoke over you then.
No.
But usually what I have seen in those kinds of cases is he is usually the breadwinner and he is definitely the person who keeps the house financially running. But when it comes to any of the interpersonal things, he's not really available.
yeah.
And it's a hard one for me because if you can see the hours that somebody is working, like it's a big trope in the American movies. Dad's never there. He's working over the holidays. Yeah, but you have this huge, fantastic life. And where did you think that came from? But then on the other token, the expectation is at the very least, at the weekends, can we join together and remember that we're actually a unit? And what I hear is, even at that point, they're not available. They're not mentally or emotionally available to be a part of their family. It's not always about doing something big. It's not always about, going and doing. Sometimes it's just chilling together. Let's watch a show or play a game or just have a chat. And that's the point when, for the women involved, it feels like there's absolutely no reward. This is just an endless treadmill of every single day, me running around like a blue ass fly, doing everything, sorting everything. And then I don't even get that moment when we all come together and we all have some downtime. And it feels like we're a unit. Even that in itself, it's not actual physical support, because if you're not there, you can't do it. It's as simple as that. But it's the emotional bit. It helps to build you back up and it helps you to move forward. And I think in the case of single mums as well, that's obviously the part that is absolutely missing. There's no physical support. There's no emotional support. So you've just got to keep going. And it's a grind. It is. And you've got to somehow find it in yourself to keep all those plates spinning. You drop a couple in the background, but we don't talk about those plates. We just look at the ones at the front that seem okay. And I think that's kind of the best way to go into it, is just like, it's not going to be perfect. And I am just one person, but doing my best, I can do the best I can. So yeah.
I'm fortunate that Yao is the way he is.
Yes.
Very supportive.
Yay.
Very loving. Yeah. He's one of the rare kind.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is rare, isn't it? But
it is.
Yeah. But I would like to know, do you think, Yao, it's the way you were brought up, that you naturally, you were just part of, bringing them up, changing nappies and all that? That should be automatic, yeah? Or is it your personality, or what is it? That makes it...
It's just the way it brought up, right?
Yeah, it must be.
Like, from day dot, my mum always suffered from arthritis and things. And it also meant that there's certain things that she could do and certain things that she couldn't do at certain times. Don't get me wrong, very strong woman, very able, full of, just out there.
Yeah.
But we were all brought up to kind of make sure that we're all pitching in. It's just the way it is. You don't live in a household where you don't contribute something towards it. I lived with my sister for a number of years, and again, you contributed. You did a bit of the chores, the washing up, the tidying up, the whatever and things. And there was nothing wrong with that, because, you put your bit into it. It just meant that not everybody had to go over and exert themselves, even though you do. Life is hard, right? So by putting in that little bit of, it just meant it was just a little bit easier and a little bit more manageable for everybody across the board. And that's just...
It's the village now. It's basically... We all need the village, but that's missing. That it's not working. No,
yes.
I think describing is basically the village.
Yeah. And what Candice was saying about, being a single parent, it's absolutely amazing if you've got family, because that village kind of, you've got the option of maybe having a little bit of support, but that there's nothing there in the dead of the night when you're by yourself and a baby's crying or two babies crying, or, and you've got to find that energy and that willpower to kind of pull it out and still carry on and still keep moving. And you're thinking, I've got to do this for X amount of years. Very, you've got to, that is real strength. Yeah.
When you were saying that, I was thinking, I think for me, the biggest touch points when I really felt, in all honesty, anger towards my ex for leaving us was the moments where things went wrong. It was like we had a routine and everything was consistent and fine. And then one day, my youngest got really sick to the point where we had to call an ambulance. And I will never forget that, because he turned blue and went limp in my arms, and I had absolutely no idea what was happening. And I was absolutely terrified. And I was so pleased because my mum had happened to stay over that night. So the other kids could have been, catered for and sorted, as opposed to me having to wake the whole household up and get everybody dressed. And I remember going through it, and even at that point when I was going through it, I was so angry. I was like, I can't lean on you at this point. I can't even call to you and say, this thing has happened. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
And almost you kind of want another adult at that point. Can I default to you? Can you be the adult? And can I just fall to pieces at this point?
Yeah.
But there's no one to kind of be the strong one at that moment
Yeah.
when it's just you. You can't balance each other out. And I think that's kind of what your mother taught you by raising you guys that way, is about compassion and understanding and balancing each other
Yeah.
out, seeing the need and stepping into it
Yeah.
without it having to be a conversation or a fight.
Yeah.
And that is why you are the partner that you are, which is, you know,
So it's about how we raise our kids, basically, isn't it? What we
Yeah.
model to them.
yeah.
What do you think
Some
now? I
people
would
are just,
ask, in my opinion, Yao
Thank
is
you.
gonna
Thank you.
give me a look, I'm sure.
No,
But
Yeah.
I can't hide it again on YouTube. So okay, let's try and
let's
keep
put
it
more
the
light
same.
on you. Don't you think, in my opinion, it's also the whole feminism thing.
No,
Yeah.
this is what as soon as you started, I knew where you were going. I
Well,
was thinking,
I all for like feminism, we have the same rights, all that, of course. But I think it's lots of feminists, are what is that expression? It went beyond what it's supposed to be, and
yeah.
they feel like I can do it all. I don't need men. That kind of thing, And I don't think that's healthy or right. So don't you think this plays a role as well, to an
Yeah,
extent?
it's something that I have thought about a lot, especially now I have a daughter. I've got 1 girl, 3 boys. And funny enough, watching Married at First Sight, because you can tell what I like to watch.
You love reality shows.
There was a woman on there recently, and she brandished herself as a feminist, and these are the the values that I live by and everything. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But there were certain points when I was just kind of like, I feel like it has pushed beyond what it was supposed to be, because, the guy that she was paired with, he was saying, he was taught to be the breadwinner, and she was like, well, why can't the woman be the breadwinner? And I was like, well, because only one of you can have the baby.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, one of the biggest stresses that I see in women is the fact that they cannot fully pull back from work and be a present mother. They
Yeah.
don't actually have that choice, because the financial ramifications are too big on their life that they have to go back earlier. Now, there are some women who that's just not the way they're built. And they're like, as soon as they can get away, they get away. And you know what? I have absolutely nothing to say to you. It's the ones who cannot that I kind of look at and go, is this what we were supposed to be aiming for? A situation where you cannot lean back and say, I forgot to put my phone on silent.
That's fine.
I'm
It's reality.
I'm so sorry. Trying to stop the call so I can put it on.
Then you can't when you need to, though.
No, like nothing was working at that point. All fingers and thumbs. Sorry. But yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. I would never attack feminism as a whole. There we go. I've done it. I've figured it out now. I would never attack feminism as a whole, because I see the point of it. Looking at our recent history, in the fact that it was only in the 70s and 80s women in the UK couldn't hold bank accounts, couldn't get credit, and couldn't even go to the pub and buy themselves a drink. So there I go, yay, it's a win. But what I'm also seeing is more pressure being piled on women to be even more than they were before, because you're still expected to play all of the traditional roles, but also play all of the work roles and going out and being out there, and also making sure that you adjust your work, which most workplaces don't want to do, so that you can actually, this is another bugbear of mine. So when you talk to people about having children and going into work, and they go, well, the law states that they should adjust your working hours. Not when you're coming in. They don't have to. They just pick the other candidate. If you guys are equally qualified, but I've got to do all these things for you, most companies are not going to pick that. You have to have had the career in place and built up that goodwill for them to say, we see you, we'll make these adjustments because we know you can.
Yeah.
So the other thing about it is, as well, is then you have a lot of mums who feel guilty because they cannot juggle it all. They can't get back into the workplace. And I just think this is not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be choice. It was supposed to be, I choose this, therefore I can, not pile more onto my plate. And also another bugbear of mine is this whole thing about whether you're a stay-at-home mum or not, like you contribute less because you're raising a family, and that,
That's horrible.
won't swear, but makes me extremely frustrated because I see value in both sides. The woman
Yeah.
that wants to go out and continue to contribute to the workforce is just as valuable as the woman that wants to stay home and raise her children and be present and do all of those bits. But the problem is there's now no longer that choice as to whether you want to or not. Now it depends on your circumstance.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's gone a bit skewed.
Yes, I agree. We fought for rights to work. We
Yep.
have it, but we still expect it to be the main care. What is it? Care.
Caregiver. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there is like hope there will be a balance, like dads and moms are 50-50, yeah, in terms
Yeah.
of like responsibilities, or is never going to change?
Do you want
Yeah.
if I jump in just quickly?
Go for it.
I can't obviously say who I work with, but
Yeah.
we absolutely do have a situation, not a situation, but we do have in place now where if I'm a dad, if you was to have, we are not having any more children. Let's make it.
Oh,
My dead body.
We're good. That's the reality of parenting right there.
yeah.
But no, if we were to have another child now,
Mhm.
I can have like 6 months to a year paternity.
Mhm.
It's available and stuff
Yeah.
now. Whereas before, I think we're
Yeah.
gonna have about a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a
But
couple of weeks.
although, don't get me wrong, the people that I worked with were brilliant. So
Yeah, but
whatever I
God,
needed
it's
to,
2 weeks now.
but whatever I needed,
Yeah.
and however I needed to kind of shift things around,
Yeah.
because I had a great structure around me, there was no questioning. I didn't have to ask, oh, I need to kind of go to this because this is happening.
Yeah.
I need to go to this. Okay. And that was,
But you were just lucky to have that
Yeah.
yes,
arrangement.
yeah.
How many people don't?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing, is a lot of people don't. I've got a friend, I won't say who he works for, but when he had a child, he was really looking forward to parental leave to find
Yeah.
out that I think he was given 6 weeks. And he was like, that's not enough time. That
Yeah.
isn't the only child we've got. So
Yeah.
I need to be on hand for all of that. He understood what was needed, but he was not being given that from his workplace. It's a difficult one, in all honesty, when I look at it, because I see it from both points of view. As a parent, of course, you want as much time as possible to put into this person who is going to be a member of society, who is
Yeah.
going to grow up and have these outlooks and views and expectations, and you want to make sure you're the one who puts into it. But then from a business point of view, I kind of need you all to remain here and never move. Because we've got this machine going and you're one of the cogs in it and we need to
Yeah.
keep turning. And it's finding that middle ground, I think,
Mm,
between the two. I feel like it's more going to come from the fact that so many people are working from home right now. I think there might be something that we could do there where depending on the roles you have, of course, but if you are office-based and you can take a laptop home, then maybe we can extend a bit of extra, slightly flexible time. I think that's something that most businesses can look at. Everyone's talking about having a 4-day week and all this other stuff. But it's like, actually, the days that we're supposed to be in, those are the ones that we really need to figure out.
Yeah.
And I mean, like councils and stuff, they do flexi time. So this is your start time, this is your end time. But if you punch in and you're a little bit late, you can make those hours up.
Yeah.
I think that's also another really good way to do it, because the other issue is you get penalized when you take that time off. You get full pay for a certain amount and then it goes down and down. I'm not entirely sure how it works on the male side of thing, but on women's side, I've seen women who are sick as a dog trying to work right up to the end because they want to ensure they have as much on the other side as possible, only to find that actually the reductions they cannot live on. So now they are forced to go back to work at a point when they don't want to.
Yeah.
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 It's not easy, right?
But it's important that we open these subjects,
Yeah.
talk about them, because that's the only way we can, change things, to stop hiding from them, stop, it is the reality and we have to face that. But what I see as well, and we all see actually, is moms, what they often do is they quit their jobs and they start their own business. Yeah. But what we often see as well is like they very soon learn, oh, okay, this is not as easy. And
No.
they get into a whole different, not problems, but issues, and
Yeah.
it can impact their confidence and self-worth and all that. So let's talk about this as well. I started when the twins were around one, I started my blog, Mom's
Okay.
Journey. And again, I found really quickly, and I published the book, Motherhood, the Unspoken. And I found very quickly that it's not bringing me any money. Yeah, I earn maybe £10 a month,
Yeah.
if I'm lucky. And that was a huge wake-up call. Yeah.
Mm.
I only got back to it recently with a healthier mindset. Like, okay, money is not the main focus, is the purpose and the vision, and money comes naturally
Yeah.
if you stay faithful to your vision or mission. Yeah. So that brings me to your project Afterbirth London. So tell us all about it, how it all started.
Whew, right. So I guess the condensed version, because we could be here, is I think in a way, so my eldest is 26. And I kind of feel that I was probably spending the last 20 odd years training for this without even realizing it. It's going through so many experiences. And as I said, I had him. And then when he was 13, I had his sister. And seeing the difference in approach, in mindset, when I went into it the first time, I was 19. I had no clue what to expect. So my expectation was have the baby, raise the baby, get on with your life. And that was it. I didn't think any more deeply into it. I was in my 30s when I had my daughter, and all of a sudden I was so much more aware of what can go wrong, what is needed. There were so many more fears and anxieties coming at me. But it wasn't until I had my last born that it solidified, actually, there's something more that is needed. And that was because I then trained to become an encapsulationist. So I used to go and pick up your placenta after you gave birth, and I would grind it down and make it into capsules for you to take. And in undertaking that business, which I started when I was pregnant, so I completely understand what you're saying about, you're like, how do I do this moving forward? I was coming into contact with so many more mums than I normally would, new mums. You know, because you think about your average friendship group, there's only so many people and so many babies. And these women were approaching me and sharing sometimes their darkest fears and the things they were really scared to say out loud to their doctors or to their family for fear of judgment or anything else like that. Like the themes that Katie brought up in the Flocks play, fear of social services coming along and sweeping your child off and things like that. And I started to realize there was a theme, and the theme was fear and isolation. Everybody thinks they're the only one going through it. Everybody thinks that they're the worst for going through it, or that there's something they should innately know or be able to fix or understand. Going through that situation, because I had been a mum for, a while at that point, it was great when I could help. It was great when they came to me with something and I could help you with your fears, and I could show you, with true logic and facts and sometimes science, why this is happening or why this is this way. But the kicker came when I couldn't, when they came to me with something and I was like, I don't have the answer because I've not experienced that. So I've got no direction for you. And there was nowhere I could send them to. There was nowhere I could say, go on this site and it should have the answers that you're looking for on it. And that made me sad, but I still didn't connect the dots. It still wasn't fully fleshed out. I went to uni and I did, a few degrees, and it was in the middle of my second undergrad when it clicked, and I was like, you need to create the resource, the one that you keep looking for, make it. Like, you keep waiting for somebody else to fix it when you already see what the issue is. So, let's start working on this. And so that is basically what it was. I would scribble so many different notes down. I would spend ages just trying to visualize, what does it look like? What should it be? And we ended up settling on the website because there is a bigger reach. And the idea of Afterbirth London is it's a conduit for everything else. The idea is you come to us and there'll be advice articles, there'll be anecdotal stories from other mothers so you can see, okay, not the only one, and this is okay, I'll make it through. But also, very valuably, is we have a directory which helps to signpost you to services. And the idea is the more services that come and list on our site, the bigger the area that covers, that we will cover the whole of England, and you
Oh,
can find exactly what you need near you. So yeah, that was my journey to my, I guess, my fifth baby.
yeah.
So what stage are you now at?
The website is launched. We had a soft launch March gone. We've got some articles on there. We've got some collabs coming up with actually some decent names. Basically, the stage we're at is gathering information and sharing it. I met someone one day and she was saying, leverage your network and da-da-da-da. And it was like, I don't have one. I'm not so deep in the birth industry that I know everyone everywhere, and the whole point is, as I learn, I share. The minute that something comes to me, a subject comes my way, I research it. I've also got a really fantastic freelancer. She researches, or we try and find an expert in that field and they write us something. So the phase we're at right now is getting ready for our hard launch next year, when we're really going to let the world know we're here, and we're looking for collaborations, other brands to work with, to really push it out there, because the point of Afterbirth is not to be an isolationist nation. It is supposed to be a collaboration with the world as a whole, so that it becomes that village.
Yeah.
That's why with us, we talk about the village. We've got a little village on the website. We say, welcome to the village. Come in, because we're going to help you find your path, your people, your
Yeah.
support network. That is what we're for. And the idea is that one day it will be that all-encompassing, resource, which is impossible because there's always going to be something new. But if I always aim to know everything and have everything, I never stop looking and searching. And
Yeah.
that's the important bit.
I love it. And I think you mentioned that at the event where we met, that it's not about competing with each other. We
No,
all bring our own service to the table, or resource, or anything,
exactly. Yeah.
wisdom. So it's about making a difference together. And I love
Yeah.
that. I love that so much. What do you think new moms in particular do? I don't want to say wrong, but what is the reason they are scared to ask for help, scared to speak up about how they feel? What do you feel or think is the main reason?
I think it's a few factors. I think we have a bigger expectation on ourselves now to always be perfect, to always know. And when I say perfect, I don't mean made up perfect home, but perfect in the fact that I should always know what I'm supposed to be doing or how to feel, whatever this gap is. And I think also the breakdown of society as a whole. That's the thing that I rant about. You rant about feminism. I rant about the breakdown of society, because the problem is, with us being scattered to the four winds, people aren't as close as they used to be physically to each other. And I'm not talking about the people who go and live in another country. That's a choice. You know what you get yourself into. I'm talking about the people who would have normally had their mum living down the road and their aunt around the corner and their sister maybe a few doors down, who now, because of the way things have gone, because it's become so much harder to be together, because of the way that money has changed and the government has become more involved, the prices of everything has shot up, and it's become so much harder to be nearby. And I think that has a big bearing, because there would have been a time when, because everybody was so close, when you were pregnant, there were others close to you who were pregnant at the same time. It might have been a few ladies on your road maybe you didn't speak to before, but now you've realized you're all in the same kind of club. You kind of make that small little insular village for yourself. It's very rare. I don't know if you can hear the kids shouting at each other out there.
Authentic.
Reality of
Yeah.
parenting.
I know. That's just like, that's them being quiet. So anyway, the reality is you're probably going to get pregnant. There's not going to be anybody else in your friendship group is pregnant, or your family that is pregnant. And if they are, they're nowhere near you. And then it's a case of the maternity lottery. When do we go off? And then you're at home and everybody is at work and doing all the bits they're doing. There just isn't anyone to turn to basically make you feel more secure in your choices and your decisions. And then we've also become so much more aware of things that can go wrong and how bad they are. And what I find with a lot of new mums, myself included, is it catastrophize in the fact that I've got this issue and it's probably about this big, but it feels massive. And it also feels now like my issue is so big that everyone's going to look at me and think, you're a terrible mum and you don't deserve to have that child. And it's not to say, oh, your issues are so small, they shouldn't matter. But the thing about it was when a lot of emotion gets involved, you've got this new person that you fiercely love and want to protect, and you want the best for them. And when you don't feel that you are the best, it's really hard to say to someone, do you know what? I'm really crap. Don't take my baby. How many times did Katie say in Fox, please don't take my baby? She felt like by expressing her fears, instead of receiving support and help, she was going to get judgment. She was going to get people going, is that what you're doing? Or is that what you're like? Then that child shouldn't be with you. And it's like, what we need to do is break down that barrier of fear, that it is okay to say, I hate saying that, but it's okay to say you're not okay. It's okay to say.
I hate that saying as well. Oh my God.
I know, it's just,
You know what? It's not okay. It should be given, or it's like breathing. No, it's not just, hey, it's what you have to do. It's expected, or
well,
should
it's
be.
kind of part of that toxic positivity, negativity movement where everything becomes a soundbite, which is shallow with no real meaning. And so because of it, no one really believes it. They may like the posts and they may look pretty, but when it comes to actually implementing it in your day-to-day in your life, you don't, because it's just a little soundbite. It's just something you dismissively off the cuff say. But if we really mean what we're saying, then it's through our actions and us supporting. Now, the problem with that is, as I've just said, more likely you're going to be the only one in your friendship group going off on maternity leave and starting this journey by yourself. So then how do you get that feedback that you need, that everything is okay? Well, it's supposed to come initially from your postnatal care, which we know is a bit of a lottery. Some people have had fantastic experiences, and some people have been let down so terribly. And it has a long-lasting effect, a long-lasting ramification. And then you also add in the fact that naturally, after giving birth to a baby, your hormones plummet, which is the onset of baby blues. And especially if you've not experienced that before, or especially if you've experienced depression in the past, that is a terrifying path to navigate, because you don't know if this is temporary. You don't know if it's going to pass. You don't know if this is just a chemical imbalance and I'm going to be okay, or if there's something fundamentally wrong. And in the middle of all of that, you've got to look after the most important thing in the world. And that's when I think motherhood goes from being the selfish act of I want to have a baby to becoming this selfless thing where it is the beginning of you giving everything at detriment to yourself. But I want it not to be at detriment to yourself.
Yeah.
That is the point of Afterbirth London. I want it to be that we raise you up and we help and we support you, and then you give everything while still filling your own cup. And that is why I think a lot of women don't speak, because they're scared of people looking at them and going, well, then why did you have a baby? Or, oh, well, is that how rubbish you are? Or like for my firstborn, when I told everyone I was pregnant, they were like, you're going to have a baby, because my lifestyle wasn't conducive to having a child at that point. It was fabulous and fun, and it was late nights, and it was fastness, and it was raving in drum and bass clubs and being out all weekend and disappearing off to raves in the countryside and all of that kind of stuff. And they were terrified. Now, luckily, when I had my eldest, all my friends clubbed around, because we were in that period of leaving college and going to uni and the rest of it and finding our first feet in the world. But if I was going through that and they were kind of like you, and then they went off to work and we didn't really speak, it would have been really hard for me to say, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Because I think people also don't seem to understand that lifestyles can change. You can be that then and this now.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing to watch. Again, even on Love is Blind, you know, one of the women was questioning her partner because, you know, he went to clubs and he was out and he was drinking and he was in strip clubs. And she's like, I don't really think that's conducive to being a married man. And it's like, but he wasn't a married man then. And I think it's the same for mothers, is you are so heavily judged on the person you were, or she was always out, so of course she can't look after baby, of course she can't settle down. And it's like, no, I'm just undertaking this absolutely massive thing with no manual, no training, and no bloody clue. There is no job in the world where they just go, well, have at it, I think you'll be okay, besides becoming a parent.
Yeah.
And you know what my experience also was when I became a mom?
Yeah.
Women who didn't have kids they saw the changes in me and they were like, but you're still you can go out, you can drink.
Yeah.
Don't be such an oldie, don't be so. We're still recording it. Close the door. So say they couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to go out and get drunk.
Yeah.
Say it. And that's coming from non-parents. So my point is like, you have no idea what it
Yeah.
is until you have that. So it's natural that you change. It's expected as well. Like, how can you not? But it doesn't mean you change for some boring person or,
Yeah.
you're a mom. So of course things change. Would be weird
Yeah.
if they didn't. No.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about that as you were saying that. I'm thinking actually it was a lot of naivety. When I was pregnant with my eldest, I didn't understand how much life was going to change. And I will never forget this. So he was due end of October. My birthday's in November. So I was like, okay, I'm going to knock this baby out and I'm going to go celebrate my birthday. And I booked for Coliseum. I think it was a Garage Nation at Coliseum in Vauxhall. And I booked my VIP birthday package complete with champagne and everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to knock this kid out and I'm just going to pop out for the night and I'm going to go raving, because I also didn't counter for the emotional tie between us. And I was like, yeah, it's absolutely fine. Now, we never will know how this story ends, because the little sod decided to stay in for my birthday and come out 3 days later. He was about 16 days late.
It was letting you
Because
know.
back then they used to let you go that far. I think they only let you go 10 days now, but it was 16 then. And so, yeah, I never found out if I would have gone to the club. But what I can say is when he was born, I naturally didn't want to leave him. I just wanted to be around him at all times. And I think for people whose friends have just had kids, I think what they need to understand is that will actually pass. Not that you stop caring about your children, but the obsessiveness of wanting to be around them, actually, it's a protective factor. It's to ensure that your baby is safe and is very likely to make it through babyhood to childhood and beyond. That is very, very normal, because for me, I returned as quickly as I could to the clubs and going out. But then, sorry?
That it takes time before you're ready to do that.
Yeah. But then also the flip side of it is there were many nights out I wanted to go on, and I just physically couldn't. I was like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and the energy is willing, but the body is not able. But I mean, even to this day, and I'm old now, but I'm still a raver. I was still, if you said to me, there's a drum and bass weekend, I'd be like, bye, kids.
How old is your youngest?
My youngest is 9.
I love the fact that you're so open, and this is what you're not what you're preaching, but this is what people need, right? They need to understand that, you know what, it's okay to be you. It's okay to feel these insecurities.
No, we don't use it's okay. It's expected.
The whole point is be who you are.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where, and I can never imagine being in a situation where, young age, that's a lot to take in, right? A lot to deal with, a lot to kind of manage and traverse and things. But that's just the beginning of the journey.
Yep.
You're not, anything that you do, you show love in which way that you know at that point to show love. That child is just blessed. And that's how you should see it. What comes from it, what you learn from it, and how you develop along your journey. That child has love, that child is blessed. And that's how you should. And if anybody tries to make you doubt that, do one in the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
No, but you're right.
Yeah, it's true. One more thing I would like to mention is that what I notice more and more is that we, as the society, we praise struggle. No?
Yeah.
She does it all. Oh my God, she's an amazing mom. She juggles so much. Like, she doesn't go out. She sacrifices her life for her kids. And we praise that. So then actually moms feel bad about asking for help, about doing something for them. Say you go away for London, for a few days as a mom.
Yeah.
What about the kids? They're with their dad. They're okay. Not many moms would say, oh, that's amazing. You taking the time. If I was doing it every weekend, that's something else. If you do it once a year or even more often, as long as you spend time with the kids. What's wrong with that? Yeah, you're looking after your needs, after your well-being. but we don't praise it enough. No,
No.
we don't. That's so amazing. Good for you. Yeah. And this is
Yeah.
what I want to normalize as well. It's not a badge of honor when you struggle.
No.
I mean, when you choose to struggle, when you have means of help, but you choose to know, I'm going to do it on my own. That's not something we should admire.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like with this whole social media thing, which is another thing that grinds my gears. I mean, I love social media. I'm on it. I consume it. It's great. But just like with any movement, it seems to have morphed into something else.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating to see. There's always going to be different types of mums and different types of mothering. Always, 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 because there are so many factors that come into it. But all of a sudden, it's like there are these mums who make these perfect day in the life and videos and the rest of it and basically put everybody else down. And you watch it solely to feel bad, you know. And at certain points, I found myself even looking at these things and going, Candice, this is not the first time you've had a child and you kind of know what you're doing. And she's only got one. So how is it that you can't get yourself together like that? And all you want to do is sit down and eat a biscuit when she's doing all these other things. And it was like, I had to kind of stop and take myself back and be like, because she's selling a falsehood. And because she's selling this falsehood, it is buying into these feelings of not being enough. If that is your life, that's fine. I don't think that anybody should shy away from when they're having a good time. Like, I know going slightly off topic here, but new mums, everybody's happy to hear from the mum that had the terrible time. There's big currency in trauma. But the mum who had the fantastic time and everything was great and her baby was a great sleeper straight, or people almost get their backs up. And it's like, how dare you have a child like that? And it's just like, we can't help what we get what we're given, okay? And it is a mixed bag. My 3 children, no 2 are the same. They're not. My last born, he weaned himself off of the breast. I was prepared for the battle. And he was like, no, it's all right, love. I'll take a bottle. Whereas my first one, we were like, he's going to be an adult coming home for milk in his lunch break because he just would not get off for love nor money. It was terrifying. And even in that situation, I had fears in the back of my head. Somebody said to me, you know, just don't give him any breast milk, only offer him the bottle. And I was doing that, and it had been like coming up to like 8-9 hours. This kid hasn't eaten anything. And now I'm thinking he's going to die. He's going to die, and social services are going to be like, why did your kid die? And you're going to be like, because I was trying to wean him. And they're going to be like, jail.
Yeah.
Also, you have all these weird scenarios knocking around your head. So you also kind of try to err on the side of doing everything right and perfection, that you're never going to be questioned. There's never going to be a situation where someone will look at you and go like, really, that was what you chose to do? But the problem is while you're living for everybody else's opinions, and I think it's a subconscious thing, because even for me, I kind of don't care what people think about me, but then I kind of do care how they look at me as a mother towards my children. So when you've got that playing in the back of your mind, what you have to remember is when you're going through all of this and they're not there. They're not there. They're not seeing it. They're not contributing. They're not helping. And we kind of have to find a way to learn to push that back, which is harder when you have all these images coming up on your algorithm showing you what you should do. Like, one of my aunts sent me a video on Instagram, and it was a man that had made baby food for his child. It was adorable. It really, really was. And she was just like, why don't more parents do that? And I was like, because there isn't time, auntie. And she's like, well, that was really quick. And I'm like, no, because he had to design the menu. He had to go to the supermarket and pick everything up. Nothing we saw started from scratch. It was already kind of pre-cooked, and it was just like the mashing phase and the rest of it. And it's like, when you actually look at how big that small, like 2-3 minute video was, he made several different dishes, and it was great. I am not knocking him. Please don't come for me, world. I'm not coming for him. I think what he was doing was beautiful, but we've also got to put it into context that is highly edited, and some stuff isn't even edited. It's just not included. And again, you could look at that while you're shoving a pouch in your kid's mouth, and you're instantly going to feel like, well, why haven't I made 7 different types of baby food? Why didn't I think to puree vanilla blueberries and strawberries? And it's just like, because we're also dealing with all the other aspects of life. And credit to him, he's obviously made a business of this. So he gets to sit and do R&D for what he wants to make next, because everything else is being taken care of. When
Yeah.
you're the one taking care of everything, it's just not feasible, and you have to cut yourself some slack and say, if I'm doing all of this, then sometimes I'm not going to get it right. If I'm doing all of this, I cannot be an expert in every field. We go to university to become experts, but you're expected as a mum to be an expert in absolutely everything. And it's like, it's not possible.
Actually, what you said there, that person and many of these perfect, influencers, they have help with
Yes.
something. So
Yes.
again, back to asking for help. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you as a mom, if you feel you're juggling it all, you don't have to. It's your choice. Yeah. You can ask your friend, you can ask a neighbor. And I like to compare it to running a business. Now, no big or successful people became successful on their own. They all
Yeah.
had help. And the same goes for motherhood or parenthood, that you can't build an empire without help.
Yeah.
So and also like the comparison thing, I think often we just do it to ourselves. No one says when they promote something perfect, they don't say, oh, you're a bad mom if you don't do it this way.
No.
They just mean they're whatever, or they're getting
Yeah.
paid for it. Yeah. And we perceive it as judgment or I'm not good enough. Yeah. So it's in us. No one says that to us. You're a bad mom for
Yeah.
doing this.
No, it's very true. And I mean, harnessing the village, if you have people around you can harness, that's great. I mean, when I had my first, he and I were just talking about this last night. He became a member of our group. My friends instantly just folded him in, and everything we did had to be kid friendly so that my eldest could come along. And it was great because, as I said, we were at that time in our lives where we were kind of in between taking our real first steps into adulthood. So there was the space for us to be around for each other. His godparents would sometimes help out. I had a cousin who was obsessed with him because he was a baby and he was really fat. And so I kind of had that. But then actually, by the time I had my next two, they weren't available because then everybody was in the gears of their own life. And also most of my friends had moved. We're now all scattered across the country. So those same people, if you look at pictures of when my eldest was a baby, you look at pictures of the other two, there is a distinct lack of people. There are so many less situations. We used to have parties at my house, which my neighbors probably didn't thank me for, sorry, but because we couldn't go to nightclubs. So the party would come to us, and we had a friend who was actually a few friends that were DJs, and they would come and set up their sound system, and my son would go to sleep to thumping drum and bass and heavy R&B, and that was him growing up. And I definitely had that village. I had that support. But there was nobody to call on with the other two. There just wasn't. I moved back to the area I grew up in, and everybody else had already moved out. And my family members, they were aging as well. So, a lot of my support system had passed. I didn't have my grandparents. I didn't have some of my aunts. And all of a sudden I was just like, whoa, like,
I
who
just
do
want to
I
say
ask?
something quickly here. I was in the same boat, no family around.
Yeah.
Whenever we have a new child, we move to a new town, no, because why not? So we don't have any friends. But what I did, I coached one mom.
Yeah.
That was a few years back. And I said, let's create our own village. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I advised to her, just go on Facebook to your local group and just share how you feel, what you're going through, and that you want that support system. And if there are any moms who would like to get together.
Yeah.
And just help each other out. And she was flooded by responses. Yeah. So she created her own village. And I do here as well. But I found it's also very about the culture.
Yeah.
We live in Scotland, and Scottish people are not very used to helping each other out.
Yeah.
Whereas when I reach out to Slovak and Czech friends,
Yeah.
it's automatic. We do help each other, of course. So it also depends, where you live.
Yeah.
That's a big one also, because you
Yeah.
can't change the culture. I
No.
attempted to create that with Scottish moms. Didn't really work out. I was the one asking everyone,
Yeah.
and they did help. They were amazing, but they struggled to ask back.
Yeah.
So there's no point. Yeah, I don't want to be just the only one asking for help. So
Yeah. Because the idea is not to become a burden, it's to become a friend.
Yes,
Yeah.
Become a
exactly.
support system that when your kids grow up, they go, oh yeah, our parents have been friends for years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, we've done family holidays and we've always been in and out of each other's houses. And I think that's kind of what I expected. And in all honesty, nothing in my reality confirmed that that wasn't what it was going to be. But I kind of just envisioned it was going to be like that. I would,
Yeah.
you know, find my people and have my friends and do my stuff, but it just didn't. It didn't materialize for me. And also when I had my next two, I didn't do like the antenatal groups and that kind of stuff because I was kind of like, I've given birth, I kind of know push.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
kind
very
of,
good. Yeah.
yeah,
Especially for each child.
I didn't realize until much afterwards that actually that's an integral part of finding your village.
Yeah.
It's not just learning how to breathe and push. It's also finding women who are at the exact same stage as you in the area that you are in as well. It's really helpful if you happen to be local. We can go on walks together and we can do these little things or just sit on the phone and complain with a drink, you know?
Yeah.
So
Cry
those
together.
kinds of things. Sorry?
They cry together.
Yes.
Cry. Yeah. If you need
So
to.
yeah, me
Yeah.
and a friend, we used to have a tradition where we would meet up every so often. She actually ended up moving up to Scotland, and we would get a bottle of Southern Comfort and we would sit on the floor. So there's nowhere to fall to. We can't hurt ourselves. And we would just drink and talk, and we would just bitch about everything that has upset us since the last time we saw each other. And we would rant, and obviously by the end it was mostly incoherent ramblings. But the point is we did that, and we cried and we hugged and all of those other things. And I look back on that and I was like, actually, those were beautiful moments of extreme drinking. I know. But coming together like that and just dumping everything out and also being given the space to do that. Sometimes I'm trying to figure something out, so I want to look at a problem from different directions and get some input. And sometimes I just want to say, this thing really peed me off, and I want to slap everything and punch everything and do that a lot, you know, and just be able to express that without someone going, oh, well, then you should have done this, or why didn't you do that at the time, and why didn't you? And it's just like, I just needed to unburden.
Someone to listen.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, for me, I think it's only been in the last few years I've really learnt the value of unburdening with no problem solving. Just being able to just say, yeah, one of my sisters is like that. She's like, okay, so I've heard what you've had to say. Here are my thoughts. And I'm like, no, I just want to moan. And you go, yeah. And then that's it.
Or why don't you do this? Have you tried this? No, I don't want that. Just fuck me. Yeah. Or that's all.
Right. Because it actually is a thing, right? It absolutely is a thing.
Yeah.
But just tell us. Tell us you don't.
Yeah, I know now that I have to tell him if we just need, what is it called? The dumping board? What is it called?
Or what? Just or dumping ground or whatever. Yeah. You just need to just release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can wrap it up here. With the advice for other moms. Just ask for help. Feed your village if you don't have it. I know it's easier said than done. I know all too well, and I'm sure Candice knows this all too well. But I heard this somewhere that it's hard to ask for help, but it's even harder to not have any. And I think I came up with that actually. I forgot.
I love that.
There's the banter. You self-plugging your own quote. Okay. Carry on with that one. I like that.
Oh my gosh.
But it's true though, no, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. It's just interesting that you forgot you made this yourself.
I created so many quotes that I lost track. Which are my... But do you want to know another one I created? It's not to do with motherhood, but don't worry about your age. We are all the same age, just not at the same time.
Okay.
That's so
I'm so done. What?
No, I like that one. I do.
You have your own as well.
Aging is a weird thing. Like, I still feel about 16 in my head.
Me too. That never stops.
No. But, like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, no.
But you don't look old at all. And, like, I don't know, 40s, 50s, that's not old to me.
I feel
and what's wrong with being
feel
old?
Yeah.
You know,
I
what's
mean,
wrong with being
I
wrong?
say the furthest I get away from my teens, the better. I was that kid that always found themselves in something. Don't ever let a Candice be bored. Terrible things will befall you. So the furthest I get away from my teens, the better. But
Yeah.
then by the same token, it's just like, gosh, there's still so much I still want to do and I still enjoy
Yeah.
it, but my body isn't so willing now. My body's like, hey, sit
Yeah.
down, get that magnesium oil out. Let's just
Also, on this, when someone asks, "How old are you?" and I say 41, it feels like I'm not talking about me.
yeah,
I'm talking about someone. I'm not 41. I'm 21.
my bad.
So, thank you so much, Candice. This has been amazing. How
You're
much
welcome.
fun. We ended up with the banter in the end.
It's not going to get edited.
I'll
Banter.
see. Some of it, no?
I
Some of
I
it
want
is.
the banter end edited, but there we go.
That's the best part. So just get up with it.
All right, come on.
Thank you so much. Tell our viewers, not listeners, I need to, where they can find you if they want to learn more about you and your work.
Sure. So we have our website, which is afterbirth.london. And we also have Instagram and Facebook. So you can search us up, Afterbirth London, and we will come up and we will connect. If you are working in the post-birth industry and you want to write an article or be in our directory, please look me up. If you are a mum who's got a tale to share so that other mothers can see from your anecdotal experience, please get in contact. This is all about collaboration and being a resource. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
And our friends,
It's been fun. My first time.
if you enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Share, like, subscribe. That's very important. We should have said at the beginning. So we need to up our game a bit. We need to say at the beginning, subscribe. If you made it this far, you probably already subscribed. Share far and wide, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.